I got to give kudos to my Michiganders here. Back-to-back days, back-to-back Tigers playoff games, and they have opted instead to come on this dumb podcast and talk about fantasy basketball. Welcome to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball, everybody. I am Dan Vespers. This show is brought to you by FanDuel, and today I am joined by Det Skeller. How did we decide we want that pronounced, Scott? Is it Det Skeller?
That's the way I say it. Det Keller. Sounds good.
Det Keller. Detroit, D-E-T-S Keller on social media. He's Scott Keller. He's the host of the Will Slambeer WNBA fantasy podcast. That is also right here on the Old Man Squad. And can I do the big reveal that you guys are going to video next year?
You can do it. You can do it right now.
It's too late. I just did it. What's done is done. Very excited about that because video, I mean, I don't like the look of myself on video, but we've all just sort of make that leap. We deal with the fact that we all look ridiculous. I really think that the sky's the limit. I'm very excited about the future of that show. Very excited about the future of the league that you cover. But you are here today to give us 5 of your dudes. I didn't want to call it the My Guys episodes because that's Doc's. I'm not going to take that from Doc.
Yeah,
it's the My Dudes. That's how we skirt copyright infringement. My Dudes episodes here on Old Man Squad. You did tell me who your guys were, which is first. Everybody else has left me in the dark, which I actually kind of like. But then I saw your list and I was like, well, I have to figure out how to argue with him on guys that I
actually like.
I actually like. So it was good. It gave me a little time to, prepare ways to yell at you and make you feel uncomfortable. Because if I'm nothing if not, Jim Gray from the 1990s. Det Skeller, where are we going first? Also, hi.
Hi. How's it going? I was going to say, first thing I know, we're recording here. I don't know when this is going to be published, but it's October 1st. So it's the beginning of October. And I think last time we did a My Guys, it was me and Steve on here doing the Madness Podman one joint last year. And I think there were comments in there, and there were some people in there like, hey, Dan and Scott kind of look a little bit alike, kind of same build. They got glasses.
It's not untrue.
So I've got my old pair of glasses, actually, and I've got my Dan Vespers Halloween kit. So I just wanted to change this real quick. So
all right, what do we got here?
This.
I need you to put on a Dodgers or oh my God. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
This is terrifying. We got to get Matty G on here too.
Yeah. So some dark glasses. They got the baseball cap. Go Tigers. And
Scott, how tall are you?
Man, I'm gonna give myself 5'10" and a half.
Okay, so you got me by a couple of inches. I'm a short fellow. Matty G has also gotten comments that he looks like me. If he and I were next to each other, it would be very obvious who is who, because I think he's like 6'3". All the Aussies that come on this show are absolutely gigantic human beings.
Yes, they are.
You and I, we may get confused for one another, even just like in passing.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'm thin in stature as well, so I assume. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, I know I'm apparently a little high on the A1C board, so I gotta watch my sugar intake. It's all part of being an old man squadite. You have to have old man problems. So tell me a little bit, Scott. Not necessarily the background of fantasy basketball, but you have your list of 5 guys. How do you get to that list? And then you can just roll right into the first name.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'll do it real quick. I'm more the category guys league, not so much roto. And actually somebody's chopping down a tree outside. I don't know if you can hear that on this microphone.
I mean, I've had my dog banging into the board in the background here. We do what we got to do.
Out of all the days, the first day somebody's chopping down a tree. But
happy October.
I do play some roto. I do play some points. Obviously, WNBA is all points. There's nothing else there. So I've got some experience in kind of all fantasy. I'm not a punter really by any means. I'm not a fan of that. I may be a pivot punter. I might pivot towards a punt during the season or maybe even during the draft, but don't start out that way. I like that well-rounded, fantasy team. I like healthy guys. I will not.
Same.
You're not going to hear me say Zion or LaMelo on this show. I stay far, far away from those guys. I like the guys that end the year strong. That's one of my favorite things. My list, when we start going through them, you got 5 guys. They all ended in the top 45 per game in the last 3 months of the season. So I love that. And I don't like drafting guys from dumpster fire teams. I don't like, I want to avoid Utah if I can, Washington, things like that. You talked about it all the time on your show. I don't want to deal with the headache, honestly. I want something that's a little consistent. And then I'll look at yearly stats, just people trending in the right direction. And I love to see that as well. So those are kind of my big things that I'm looking at for the guys. And you'll see all these guys kind of fall into that trend.
All right. Take us to guy number 1.
Let's do it. First one, and actually full disclosure too, like you said, I gave you that list on Monday. You've had some nice videos come out since then and some shorts as well. So I kind of just doubled down on some of these, but Derrick White's the first guy, Boston Celtics. I don't see any way that his stats just don't go up with the situation that's going on in Boston right now. I'm a sucker for efficient point guards that can get some rebounds, get those defensive stats. If you throw me earlier rounds like SGA, I love Scotty Barnes, Amin Thompson, those type of guys. And I think Derrick White is one of those type of guys. But everything is just going in his direction. I mean, you got Jason Tatum out. You got to replace minutes of, Holiday, Porzingis, Horford, Luke Corner. Everybody's gone. Boston's kind of gutted. But at the same time, I feel like Boston's going to be competitive. The East is not that strong. I don't think they're just going to bomb a bunch of games. So with that said, I mean, I think the sky is the limit for him. He finished last year 34th per game. I kind of see that as his floor, which is a very high floor. And rebounds is one of those big things I see with him. That Jason Tatum's an excellent rebounder, right? I think he had 8.5, 9 rebounds per game last season. I think some of those get spread out a little bit around those guards. So even if he gains maybe a rebound, per game, little thing like that adds up. And I think he just consistently does what he had done and maybe gets more shots, more points, just everything just seems like it should go up.
Yeah, it's funny too, because I've talked a lot about Derrick White, and it's going to be hard for me to play devil's advocate, but I will a little bit here on the show in just a moment. I cover extensively how much usage is left behind. Jason Tatum and his 20 shots a game, Porzingis and his 14. I know Drew Holiday's not exactly a high usage guy, but he was taking 9 shots a ball game as well. What I haven't talked about all that much is something you just mentioned. Jason Tatum was the leading rebounder on the Celtics last year at 8.7 per game. Porzingis was the second leading rebounder on the Celtics last year at 6.8 per game. So you're talking about 15 plus rebounds being left to whoever. And they'll have somebody else come in and play center. Looks like Neemias Queta is going to have the first crack at that. And, they'll have to start a different power forward. Maybe that's Sam Hauser, but he's not exactly a rebounding type. So does that change for some of these other guys? Possibly. So that's another kind of feather in the Derrick White cap. I will ask you the question that I ask myself when I'm talking about Derrick White, which is, are you at all worried that the Celtics throw in the towel on this year at some point?
Absolutely. I think that's the only thing that I get a little concerned about is that they do that. It seems like it's somewhat of a forgotten year, probably, if you think about without Tatum. They didn't go out to get anybody else to improve this team that really at all. So it's a little scary, but I think it kind of goes back to like what I said. The East is not that good. And I think even if you're not that good, you're still going to be somewhat competitive. So that doesn't, I still think they're at least a play-in plus team. I don't think they're not going to make the playoffs or anything by that means. So maybe the minutes go down slightly because of what they're doing, a little bit more rest this year. But I think, like you say, usage wise, like just touching the ball and all those counting stats and stuff still go up, even if minutes were to go down slightly.
How high do you think you could go in 9-cat rank?
For me, I would take him at the very end of the second round, as high as that. If you're talking a standard 12-team league, right? I'll take him at 23, 24 on the first side. Or maybe I'll wait a couple more, and get him on the end around in the third, depending if you have that third round reversal is another caveat you got to look at. But as high as the low 20s for me. I don't want to miss out on them for sure.
I've mentioned it before. I'll mention it again here. The Celtics season win total over at FanDuel is at 41.5. So there is an expectation that this team is going to accidentally win a bunch of ball games this year, even without a lot of their guys. And like Scott was talking about, the weak Eastern Conference, I think they probably do accidentally win a bunch of games. So that's 41.5 over at FanDuel Sports and the FanDuel Sportsbook, one of our partners here on Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Again, folks, a reminder to please like, rate, and subscribe if I don't remind you to do it. Sometimes folks don't remember to do it, so apologies for all the reminders. It is a very important thing to do. Det Skeller, what's number 2 on the board?
Yeah, number 2, your LA Lakers, Austin Reaves. I have to go with Austin Reaves. He's so solid. ADP's right around 50 right now, depending if you're looking at Fantrax or Yahoo. Finished 39th last year. Again, like I talked about, these guys, the last few months of the season, he was fine. I was worried that numbers would go down with Luka Doncic there, but you look at the stats after, what was that, February 11th, I believe, was the first Luka game, if I remember correctly. He actually got better. It seems he just went up. Became even more valuable. So, I mean, so that's a huge thing with that in consideration, that those guys were there already. And then you had AD before that and stuff like that. And he still had good numbers prior to Luka as well. So I think he can be as high as a top 20 player if he, reaches his full potential here this year. Obviously, you have the difference with DeAndre Ayton there. However, I would be, one of the biggest non-DeAndre Ayton fans in the entire world. I do not like that guy, his motor, or anything about him. We just saw that thing today where it's like, I might actually play with the Lakers since they're decent. So
at least he admitted it.
Yeah. So at least he's honest. But not a big fan of him. And I don't, even with the addition of him, I don't think it takes anything away from Luka and LeBron and Austin Reaves as well. So I like him there. You don't know who else is going to start with them. I think it was Jovan Buha talked about, maybe Marcus Smart taking that position. I think he went back and forth with him over Rui Hachimura. Again, whoever that person is, obviously if it's Marcus Smart, a little less offense from him, more defense on the Smart side. So more offense for Austin Reaves, I believe, based on that type of starting lineup. But he's the number 3 option right now. You couldn't argue that. LeBron's getting older. How many games does he actually play? Does he miss more games? Luka, we've seen some health things back and forth. Obviously, he's looks like Superman this year. We'll see what happens. But I think there's going to be nights you're resting Luka. I think there's going to be nights you're resting LeBron. We saw that last year, and Austin Reaves was amazing in when those guys are absent, and even when they're on the floor. So he's sturdy, games plays wise. The last 4 years, he's over 60. Last year was 73, 82 the year before, and everything is trending the same way. Taking more shots, still being just about as efficient, taking more threes, making more threes. Everything's just going up in the right direction, and I don't see it stop.
I have an intense amount of difficulty playing devil's advocate on Austin Reaves. At least with Derrick White, I could come up with, hey, but the Celtics might not try to win. The Lakers are trying to win, obviously, so there's no shutdown risks associated with him. Hey, could we look at health and say, nope, Austin Reaves has been exceptionally durable the last 2 seasons in a row. That's not a guarantee it'll happen again, but obviously there's no red flag on the health side with him. Oh, could we say, and you already talked about this one, Scott. Oh, what about the fact that he is sort of the number 3? No, didn't matter. He made the best of that situation last year. And the numbers that I've pulled up on the screen for YouTubers right now is actually just the final 2 months of the year when he largely played with Luka Doncic and LeBron James, and he was number 27 during that stretch because his field goal percent got back up to 48, where, believe it or not, that's basically where he's been throughout his career. The 46% last year was on the low side. There were more 3-pointers, and that was a big part of it. But he's a career 48%er. There's nothing that says he can't be 48 or potentially even a tiny bit higher if he has what you'd call sort of like a quote-unquote good shooting season, because it does happen with these guys from time to time. I have nothing bad to say about Austin Reaves. And on top of all that, Lakers media day, the news reports were that LeBron's not ready to go yet, that he's going to be ready by opening night, but they're going to be kind of easing him into game action. He is old. They know they need him healthy in April. They feel like they have enough firepower to not be like struggling to get into the play-in or whatever. So
Yep.
Like, I think you're going to see more on Luka and Austin Reaves this year. And again, I'm not going to be one to ever fade LeBron because I did that one time and LeBron was like, I'm a cyborg, son. Don't fade me. But that doesn't mean that we can't expect small decreases for Braun. Maybe he doesn't play 36 freaking minutes a game. Maybe they play him like 34 and a half. All these little things add up to more positives for Austin Reaves. So I'm full on board. I can't even mess with you on that, dude. And he's a Laker, which is fun for me because for a long time the Lakers were a terrible place to pick up fantasy players, and they're not anymore. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think because he has a pain in the butt, right? And it's not DeAndre Ayton. It's something else, some nerve or something, right? So
yep, he's got a little butt pain. Yep. That's one of my favorites. It's not thumb stuff. Shout out Scott Bogman, miss you, buddy. It's not thumb stuff, but yeah, LeBron's got a gluteal nerve issue. My guess is that a kid probably like socked him real hard in the ass cheek, and he's recovering from that because kids punch you everywhere.
Yes, they do.
That's the thing. They should really give you the brochure on kids and like you prepare yourself for the lack of sleep and all this stuff. And it's like thing one that nobody told you, you're never gonna have a weekend again. Thing two, no one told you, your kids are just gonna sock you everywhere. And there's no like seeing it coming. It just happens, and you have to be ready to be like slightly hurt.
I feel like I get a lot of headbutts in this family too. They just get really close to you real fast.
Oh yeah, the heads are always swinging around like a drunk college kid. The heads.
It's funny you say that. We always used to call my oldest a drunk college girl when he got tired because he would just start flopping around.
The head goes and the head's hitting things,
rolling on the floor. Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes they barf. It's a whole thing. Austin Reaves is beautiful. I love him. By the way, friends, if you guys want to play fantasy a better way, do it at Fantrax. Everybody knows it in the industry. A lot of us still use other sites. I still have leagues at Yahoo because I have friends that are there and like it's what my brain is used to. I'm going to be fully honest with everybody. If I could move everything to Fantrax, I would. But I barely have time to eat. So I don't have time to move everything that I've got going on there right now. But every mock I do with industry folks, that's at Fantrax. All the Old Man Squad listener leagues, those are at Fantrax. It's just the better place to go to it. Fantrax.com/oldmansquad. Give it a try. There's no obligation. You don't have to pay anything to sign up. It's just like signing up for a Yahoo account. Fantrax.com/oldmansquad. Give it a go. You'll be happy you did as soon as your eyes adjust to a different fantasy website. Scotty boy, who's number 3?
Number 3, this is a double down on one of Steve St. Pierre's from the last episode here. And I got to say this, like Myles Turner, I'll just say it here. He's around. What's actually very interesting, I saw his ADP, I think at Fantrax right now is like 42, whereas Yahoo's about 54. Mm-hmm. And I think you talked about it with Steve on the last show as well, that his like actual ranking was even lower. I think it was like 74. So it's kind of all over the board with him. It's very interesting. This guy is like, when Steve says it's my guy, this has been his guy since they've been playing basketball with peach baskets. Like Myles Turner is the guy he's been drafting every single year. So I should have known that he was going to pick him, but
that's fine. Totally. You guys didn't discuss beforehand.
We did not. We didn't.
You mitten folks thinking alike. That's fine.
Yeah, but I think the first easiest thing for me to think about with him is, whose spot he's taking, and that's Brook Lopez in that lineup. And if you look at Brook Lopez last year, he finished 56th per game. So to me, obviously, Myles Turner is a big upgrade on Brook Lopez right now, I believe, in Milwaukee. So 56 for me is actually his floor to me. And I think he obviously surpasses that. I mean, Brook Lopez got 32 minutes. He takes just under 10 shots, 5 boards, 13 points. Get a couple assists, a couple blocks, and then you look at Myles Turner, and he's, way over that. Even with Indiana, he had just over 11 shots per game, still taking those threes, 15 points, got more boards, a better rebounder than Brook Lopez is. So everything says higher than 56 just from that in my eyes. Playing next to Giannis, I think that's going to be pretty good. And then other than that, offensive weapons-wise in Milwaukee, there's not that many. Obviously, they said KPJ, I think, was announced as a starter today. in Milwaukee, but I don't think that has a huge effect on Myles Turner. I just think in Indiana, I kind of agree with him what he was talking about. I believe he was quite limited in Indiana. I love Rick Carlisle. I love the Indiana Pacers. I'm a Pacers fan, but I feel like there was more platoonish, less minutes. I think there was more opportunity for him to have a better role in that Indiana lineup, and I think he's going to get that in Milwaukee. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I just love him. He finished 49th per game. Again, I think he can crack the top 30. If you can get him in the 4th round, like my dream right now would be to pick at the end of the 2nd round, get Derrick White, get Myles Turner, and also Austin Reaves, just kind of back, round 2, 3, 4. I'd love it.
Yeah, which actually feels quite feasible.
Yeah.
Because Derrick White is typically going a little later than that. Reaves is going a little later than that. Myles is going a little later than that. But it feels like, again, talking to Scott Keller, it feels like you think there's room, not just like a little bit of room beyond where they're going, but room to go a tiny bit early and still create a win there, which also, by the way, this kind of dovetails into a discussion that I had with Josh Lloyd a few days ago, which was like, even if you take Myles Turner, let's say you draft him at 40 and he ends up at number 40, that's not a loss. That's fine. Like, taking a guy where he ends up is, if you did that in every round of your fantasy draft, you'd probably have a really good fantasy team.
No, I completely agree. That's usually what I'm looking for, is kind of one round of improvement from where I got him. And if I can get that type of value out of them, it's great, especially out of your first 5 picks. Obviously, as you get further down in your draft, looking for a little bit more, it's a different situation. You're just looking to not mess them up, really. But also, if there's that upside, it's even better without mess up. So a little secure. I like to be risk adverse, and Family Matters reference. I don't need everybody to be a Steve Urkel and turn into Stefan Urkel. Like, it doesn't need to be that dramatic.
It's like the only 90s TV show t-shirt I don't have is Family Matters, which, no, that's not true. I have an Urkel shirt. It says "No Sweat My Pet" on it. I forgot I had that one. Yeah. "No sweat, my pet." Yes. Jaleel White. That was a time, man. All those. We need to do a theme song draft.
Oh, that would be great.
They were all done by the same 2 people throughout the entire 90s.
Especially if we had to sing it just to be able to draft it. That'd be great. I was a big fan of the Perfect Strangers theme song. Was fantastic.
With our good friend Balky.
Yes.
No, and man, there were 3 shows that all had the same group that did the song. It was Family Matters, Full House, and oh Lord, Step by Step. Step by Step was the other one. Step by
yes.
Step.
Because you could actually do a really good mashup of those 3 songs as well.
You really could. I bet
I'll be singing those things in the shower half the time, and then you start with one song, turns into another.
That's true, because somehow you got to like, "It's a rare condition."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I lost track of what the hell we're talking about. Oh, Myles Turner.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's a chance that the Bucks give him the 32 minutes they give Brook Lopez? We've never really seen Myles Turner playing a consistent 32. Oddly.
I definitely think there's a chance, and I think he wants it to. So I think they'd love to appease him, especially from the stuff you hear in these media days and things like that. That he was, he says he thinks he was undervalued, in Indiana. So I think Milwaukee would like to, prove him right and be like, hey, we're going to give you some extra minutes. I don't see why not. He's been pretty consistent for the last 3 years. I mean, he's played a good amount of games, been considerably healthy. 72, 77, 62 last 3 years. So I don't think there's really any concern that he can't take on more minutes. And I mean, if he doesn't, he doesn't, and I'm still not worried. I totally take him even where he's at as far as minutes wise. But yeah, if he gets more the merrier. Just makes it even better.
Fear not on the mighty Myles Turner. At Det Skeller is going to take us to his 4th player on the board today. Who might that be?
Yep, I'll get these last few a little bit faster here. This good. One, Dan Pelio had this guy, Christian Braun, as one of his players. So not to steal his thunder. You see what I did there? I love Christian Braun as well. I've actually loved Christian Braun.
Didn't steal his nugget either.
Yeah, I've actually loved Christian Braun for a long time, and I've drafted him in previous years, wherever as far down as I have to get him, he was pretty much always on my team. Last year, man, but I guess I should start with the Nuggets just as a whole. The Denver Nuggets are my pick to actually win the NBA championship this year. I think they had the third best odds behind Cleveland and OKC, if you're looking at your friends at FanDuel. And I think that 54.
They're going to appreciate that shout out, by the way.
Yeah, 54.5 wins as well on the over under. And I love them. I think they're bringing back everything they need. I think they got better. I know I'm not talking about Christian Braun too much right now, but I think I said MPJ earlier when I was talking about Kevin Porter Jr. So I got to fix that.
I thought you said KPJ. Maybe I tuned it out, but
I might have messed that up. But I'm going to go another PJ now here. So with Michael Porter Jr. out, I don't know. He's got his stuff off the court. That's a little interesting right now.
Look, you can be more blunt on that one. The Nuggets didn't like him. It was very clear as Jokic was talking about the players that he's going to miss. He listed Russ. He listed guys that were the 18th dude that got call up from the G League for a game. He did not list Michael Porter Jr. on the players he's going to miss. This is a guy that has started, obviously the biggest piece that they lost. And the Nuggets don't seem to care that they lost him because they brought in a replacement who does almost the same stuff, but presumably isn't going to annoy all of them in Cam Johnson.
And that's pretty much the point of what I was getting at was I just think what they have is they bring in Cam Johnson, a perfect replacement and an upgrade at this point. I think he would,
I like him too, by the way. I know that's not who we're talking about, but I think Cam Johnson's a nice value this year too.
I do as well. I think Cam Johnson's great. And then they got Bruce Brown coming back, and Bruce Brown just talked about how, where can I go? He's talking to his free agent. He's like, I don't care about the money. I just want to go back to Denver if they want me. You've got this really good team kind of chemistry going on there. I like the coaching. I like the team. I like Jamal Murray. I like Jokic. I like everybody. And I think they got a lot of depth. And so I just think as a team, they're going to crush it. But even with that, I don't think he's going back to Christian Braun, who I was actually talking about. I don't think his role changes all that much. And I still think he gets the same shot selections. I still think he puts up the same stats. And last year, where did he finish? I can't remember what number he was
57.
at.
57. Just threw it on the screen for you.
There you go. So 57th per game. And he's getting drafted just inside the top 100. And it boggles my mind. I can't understand that one at all. I'd take him way higher than 100, but I'll wait that long if I can get him there. So it's great. So, that puts you in a really late round position to maybe get a mid-rounder almost in some of your late rounds. So that's amazing. He, again, I talked about earlier with the last few guys. He stays healthy. He's played a lot of games, 79, 82, 76 games the last 3 years. So He's dependable. The Nuggets are going to be good, but also with them being really good, this is kind of opposite of with Boston and the East being kind of weak. The West is just uber competitive. So even if you're on a Nuggets team that's really awesome, I don't think you're going to be blowing everybody out of the gym every day. So you still have to come out and compete. You're still going to get that usage, still going to get those minutes. And
So I guess the only two things that folks have brought up on why Christian Braun might not be going as early, and I understand these, I, like you, don't really care about them that much. 58% from the field feels like a difficult number for him to repeat. And then you mentioned Bruce Brown. Could he shave into anything that Christian Braun is doing? My take on the Bruce Brown thing is he takes Russ's spot. So if you can survive having Russ next to you, you could probably survive having Bruce Brown next to you. The 58% probably does come down. I think I can agree with that. But is it going to come down so far that he falls from top 60 to top 100? Probably not.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm very comfortable taking him anywhere in late 70s, early 80s if that needs to be. But I'll wait it out. Watching all these mocks and things like that, I can tell that I can get him later. So I will wait and get him later if need be. But
you can indeed get him later. He went, let's see, let me do the quick math in my head. 84, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think he went around 90 in the industry 14 teamer. So and that's that's with sharp folks. As you get into more public drafts here in October now, he probably goes even later because guess what? He didn't score that much. If you don't score, you fall in drafts. That's just or assist. That's how you. I mean, and that's why. And Josh brought this up too. This is like the punt assist year, smacking everybody in the face. If you don't get Jokic at the top of the board or Luka, if you want to be an assist team, you have to go so guard heavy. And then you've got a lot of weaknesses on your ball club. But hey, you've got a fifth. This is someone no one's talked about on this show before.
Yeah,
we're going into uncharted waters. I haven't even talked about him because I'm still in the middle of like, I don't even really know how I feel about this dude. So lay it on us, man. This is your outside the top 100. Has anybody talked about him guy?
Exactly. The only one. And what's funny is I'm looking at my notes here that I have prepared for the show, and I was like, there's not really anything on there for him. Other than he is ADP is about 105. Jaden McDaniels, I forgot to say the name. There we go. Minnesota T-Wolves. Yeah, we got him at 105 as an ADP. Last year, he ended up 76 per game, I believe it was. 23-24 the year before was a little bit of a down year. So it was somewhat concerning a little bit, I guess. But I feel like he's just carved a pretty consistent role in the offense in the Timberwolves system. Minnesota's awesome. He's, again, a very healthy player so far and is shown to be played. I didn't even know that played all 82 games last year, 72 the year before, 79 the year before, 70 the year before. So he does what he needs to do. I think one thing that I really love about him is he doesn't get into foul trouble. He averages less than 3 fouls a game, which I love having a guy that gets some rebounds and some small amount of defensive stats that stays on the floor. Once in a while, we'll see guys like Rudy Gobert foul out of games or have foul trouble. And I think that gives another spot. Obviously, they have Naz Reid there who could come in and take some big man stats and fill in when other people are in trouble. But I just feel like he's got a really consistent role. You look at him, his efficiency wise, field goal percentage, 47.5% last year. He's not bad. He's not really going up and down. That's about where he's at all year, or of his career. Yeah, 48%. I should just look at your screen and not mine, but 48% here as far as overall field goal percentage. He's another guy who's somewhat big, shoots threes and shoots them at a pretty decent clip. It's met 33% last year. I love that he's a great free throw shooter. You just go through all the efficiency stats and he does them. And he does them at a pretty consistent basis. His free throws were a little bit lower the last 2 years, so I guess you could see a little bit of drop in that. Maybe it goes below 81, but picking at 105 or around that, I would not mind grabbing him anywhere, having on my team all year and putting up stats like he did last year. So.
Does it worry you at all that his numbers do take a hit when the Wolves are 100% healthy?
Not completely. I guess I can't really justify that. That's probably just more a gut feeling that it doesn't worry me that much. I don't have any stats to back it up, but no, not really. Because I feel like even in previous years, as you look through the last 5 years, in the last screen, like it wasn't that different. And they've been healthy at different times in different years throughout the last 5 years of his career. And he's been able to do pretty much the same thing. So
I'll throw that screen back up there that you're referencing so folks can look at it. I do love the fact that over the last 3 years, he's missed a grand total of 13 games. I mean, I talk about it a lot on this show. It's not something that we had to pay super close attention to 7-8 years ago, but you really do now. There are certain guys that actually make it through a season, and lately he has been one of them. I really hope, so just to put it kind of back in perspective, I'll flip back over to sharing the Wolves tab from last year on Basketball Monster. The two highest usage guys on Minnesota are likely to be Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. Again, one would assume. Those guys combined to miss only 16 games this last year, and most of that was Randle. So if you're looking at McDaniels and saying, well, he got that uptick in field goal attempts because guys missed a bunch of time, the Wolves were by and large a pretty damn healthy team last year, at least compared to other clubs across the NBA. And maybe they are built that way. Maybe Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, maybe these are guys that are just healthier guys. But it's also possible that what if Anthony Edwards misses 10 games instead of 3? It doesn't feel like a lot, but that's a lot of usage that gets put in the bucket. And that's Like, that's how Jaden McDaniels was able to float his value last year, was it didn't take that many games of him doing more to get him to that 75 rank because, okay, fine, if the team is fully healthy, maybe he's not number 75, but 1-3, 1 steal, 1 block, like it's the Danny Green, the 1-1-1 stuff going back. I get it. He feels to me, Scott, and then I'm going to actually let you go watch the end of a baseball game, which I think is still going. He feels a little bit like
losing now.
Oh, are you guys down now?
Yeah, 2-1.
Oh, I haven't been watching. I've done a very good job of not being distracted. 2 days in a row.
Not me.
Yeah, sorry, I know this is horrible timing for you. He feels like kind of a safe floor, maybe not quite the extreme ceiling of maybe even a Christian Braun going near there that you just talked about, or a Sark Thompson or guys like that, where like maybe they have a bigger chance of popping off. But McDaniels, you're like, well, I know this guy's going to play 32 minutes a game because he's their best like all-around defender and he's super healthy. Is that a fair assessment, or am I off base? Feel free to, by the way, to tell me to screw off.
No, that's somewhat fair. I mean, I don't necessarily see him ending 76 again, but I think a lot of the time when you're drafting players, I don't know, 9th round and after, let's say in your fantasy draft, they're not guys that are probably going to be on your fantasy team for long. You might be rotating them out, especially in head-to-head. You're going to be most likely streaming some of those spots. Usually you're trying to find somebody who's going to start off hot and then you're going to rotate somebody else in. But with Jaden McDaniels, I kind of feel like I think it is very secure. It might be one of those guys you draft in the 9th round that you hold on to your entire, year of fantasy if it works out right. But it's got legs to it. I think it can run a little bit, but I don't think it can fall that far. So yeah. I do think that, the floors, it might be where you draft them, but that's not a bad thing. So,
and not to be misleading in any way, but what I've now flipped up on the screen for folks that are watching video is the totals ranks from Minnesota last year. Jaden McDaniels was number 35 because staying healthy matters in the modern NBA, especially in head-to-head. You want 4 games of a guy who has a 4-game week. It makes a huge difference. Like, we don't think about it all that much. It's like, oh, it's just 1 game. But like, you're talking about 12 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, over a steal, a block, a 3. Like, these things add up. We're trying so hard to stream. We're trying to maximize all these games, and we have so many guys in the NBA that just don't play a game a week. Get a guy who does. Suddenly, they're ranked in the frickin' 3rd round by totals because they stayed upright. It matters. I know. We use all the boards. You got to use all the data together. You use the -1 ranks. You use the traditional ranks. You use totals ranks. Like, understand what everything means. Push it all together, and you get a pretty good story about a guy. He is Det Skeller, Detskeller. He is Scott Keller, my good friend, a member of the Old Man Squad, and the host of the Will Slambeer WNBA Fantasy Podcast. Scott, thank you so much for doing a basketball fantasy show while your baseball team is in the playoffs. I know what that means because I watch these Dodger games at night with my stomach twisted into a knot. There's no chance I could record something. I'll talk to you really soon.
Of course we will. Thanks for having me.
We've rounded out the Menace Podmen here over the last couple of days. My Detroiters, love those dudes. Scott forgot to mention, but wanted me to point out that all 5 of his guys are lower turnover guys. So often a reason that they fall a little bit in 9-cat is because a lot of their rank is built into this 8-cat universe or a points league universe. And so that allows you to get a little bit more value on those dudes. So a lot of very efficient guys, including Austin Reaves, despite the higher assist, his turnovers are not that bad. They're higher than average. But like when you talk about other guys that are ranked in the upper echelons, they're not all that high. This show is brought to you as well by our friends at the HOF app. Download the HOF app today or go to hofapp.com and start winning your damn bets. It's as simple as that. Smart bettors rely on data, and HOF hands you powerful analytics at your fingertips to tilt the odds in your favor with thousands, nay, millions of data points that go into creating projections for games that haven't happened yet. You can use their parlay optimizer if that's your jam. Look at which legs on your parlay are the safest or the riskiest. You can use it to bet money lines, spreads, whatever. Just get data at your fingertips. Use an advantage when you're going down that rabbit hole. Instead of just using your gut, use numbers. And for a limited time, our listeners here get not only a 7-day free trial, you can let it ride after that and get 50% off the first month when you use code SQUAD at checkout. SQUAD. Download the HOF app on iOS or Android or visit HOFapp.com. Enter code SQUAD, and you are all set to be a winning wagerer. That is how you do it. Do it the smart way. Give yourself a better shot over at HOF. I hope that this show brought you some joy. I know it brought me some because Scott likes a lot of the same fantasy guys that I do. You could certainly hear it in the way that I talked about Austin Reaves and Derrick White at the beginning of the program. I've said some nice things about those guys over the last couple of weeks here on the show. I am Dan Besbris. He is Det Skeller, Detroit S. Keller. Not the whole word Detroit, just D-E-T. My name is spelled B-E-S-B-R-I-S. You can also follow at Old Man Squad for all updates about our channel. We have like 6 or 7 hosts now over here, which is absolutely bonkers. I can't believe this has happened already. I'm having the time of my damn life. This is my favorite part of the year. I get to talk to all my buddies, find out what they're doing in their drafts, put all that information together, and we can do the best with it. Please take a second. Do it now. Subscribe. Take one more second. Please stop what you're doing. Hit that button. Please. Thank you. I had a good buddy. He was the broadcaster for the Lake Elsinore Storm named Sean McCall. He would say, and please always remember to say please and thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Have a great day, everybody. For Scott, I'm Dan. This is a continuation of the Your Dudes, My Dudes, I don't know, somebody's dudes series of shows here on the Old Man Squad Network presented by FanDuel, Fantrax, and the HOF app. See you guys soon.